Andrew Vaughn is not on the White Sox anymore, yet he still haunts me to this very day. We'll talk about him here on the CHGO White Sox podcast. CHGO White Sox podcast presented to you by Bet365. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary with our friends over at Bet365. Sign up using code CHGO365. Welcome into Studio B of our CHGO offices here in the West Loop of Chicago. I'm your host, Sean Anderson, alongside me, my producer, Joey Christopoulos.
What's up, Sean?
Nothing much. I drink too much RC, and I'm trying not to burp. On today's show, we'll be talking about Andrew Vaughn. I just had Mark Carmen in the bathroom, which is a normal place to have a conversation, asked me, did I even crack a smile when Andrew Vaughn hit a home run last night? I know I didn't, but our guest did. We'll be joined by a very special guest in just a second. We'll also talk about Jerry Reinsdorf and David Sampson's beef and something else. I think maybe the Cubs not signing Kyle Tucker, but we'll figure it out. Let's get to our very special guest. The leader of the Andrew Vaughn fan club. It's somehow still going strong, even though it's now located in Milwaukee. It is the owner of the all sports scene, a.k.a. Ass, our friend Sam Reeves. Hello.
Hello, everybody.
How old is that? Like, how old is the popsicle stick with the Vaughn thing? Have you had that for years?
I've had that since 2021, so yeah, about 4 years old now.
And it's still getting good use to this day. If you didn't know, there was a jersey held up, a White Sox jersey held up before Andrew Vaughn's homer in the first inning against the Cubs last night, and it was Sam. His boyhood dream came true. Andrew Vaughn hit a home run very high and hard. How surprised are you, Sam? Because I'm assuming you never gave up hope.
No, of course I never gave up hope. I wasn't. I was surprised that he was in the lineup. I mean, he's not Rhys Hoskins, but he does hit lefties, so that makes more sense. But I wasn't surprised that he was able to turn around on a ball up and in at him. I mean, it's against a lefty. That's pretty much a zone that you want to avoid to a right-handed hitter, and he just was able to turn on it. And I mean, it didn't look like it was going to go. It looked like it was going to be to the warning track as to how high it was, but lo and behold.
I guess I'm just shocked that it happened, because I was surprised that he got off to such a hot start in July. And then August was still like a little bit, it was iffy. And then September, he didn't have a home run, but he had Tony Gwynn numbers. He had a 390 average. And then, of course, he's able to deliver in the postseason for them. Are you jealous at all, maybe? Is that the right word? Do you even, is it just... it's modern baseball. You just don't even care because it's just Andrew Vaughn.
Yeah, I'm just happy for him. There was the whole beef on, all sorts of things. Like, who should the White Sox fans root for in this series and blah, 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 blah. And I said, I don't care about either of the teams. I just hope Andrew Vaughn has a good time. And so far, so good.
I don't think I've ever seen him have this much of a good time, though. On our thumbnail, he's putting up the hook'em horns, which he's not from California.
Which is very weird.
He's a golden bear. We have the photo. Great, here he is. Just wiling out around in first base. I mean, he's making a Kyle Teel face expression. He looks like he's just enjoying life. Is Milwaukee better for him? Do you feel like maybe he's more at home with the outdoors being in Milwaukee? As Wisconsin's notably different from Illinois.
Yeah, I'm sure for him he's more in his element. He's a big fishing guy, a big hunting guy. So I mean, he's probably a little bit more in the element up there. He can talk about beer and cheese with a lot of people, so I'm sure that's helping him. But I mean, the Brewers organization seems to just be good for the last 6+ years now, and just picking up players and turning them into really good players for some reason. So I don't know what do they have the Cardinals devil magic now. I don't know, but something's going on in Milwaukee.
Weren't we supposed to get the devil magic? Wasn't that the whole Tony La Russa thing? Like that devil magic was supposed to become to us. How did that get?
Yeah, we got like what 4 months of that, and then they just kind of fell off in September 2021, and then the playoffs happened, and then they just went away. It was gone. It was tapped. I think too many people were trying to grab from it.
Yeah, well, it's a Horcrux, right? That's the thing from Harry Potter. I wonder if someone finally smashed the last, burned the last Tony La Russa St. Louis Cardinal hat, and that's what happened. I don't know. Final thing here, Sam. There was a diehard question for us that I think it's probably best suited for you. Do the White Sox pursue Andrew Vaughn in free agency in 2027?
No.
Fresco
no,
saying, will the White Sox be players? Oh, maybe maybe they won't sign him, but will they be players, Sam, for Andrew Vaughn when he becomes a free agent in 2027?
No, they won't. I don't think Getz will do that if Getz is still here in 27, which I mean I'm sure he will be. They have Lenyn Sosa. They can keep signing to 1-year deals to play first base, and no other prospects to play first base. So who knows?
And I think the real thing, too, is they'll just be too expensive. It's not even probably like a want from them. I mean, he's probably, Tucker's going to get $400 million. So with the way Vaughn's been playing, 600's like a light estimate. What did Ohtani get?
Yeah, so you got, 700, 720? So Vaughn might be the first $1 billion player. We don't know.
He's got a lot to offer. I mean, I think that's what we've literally learned is Andrew Vaughn was more than just a baseball player, and Milwaukee tapped into the human side of Andrew Vaughn, and now we've seen him grow human, from a spiritual standpoint. So, Sam, I really do appreciate the enlightenment here. Let's plug Ass. Let's plug All Sports Scene, the Ass Cast, talking out your ass as well.
Mm-hmm.
Where can people find you? What times? When?
So, we do our Thursday show, Ass Cast, every Thursday at 7 o'clock Central Time on our YouTube channel at All Sports Scene. I think 1229 is the thing that we got from YouTube, but it's all of our socials. You can find us on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, obviously YouTube. And then every other Tuesday, we haven't done a show in a while, but we do Talking Out Our Ass, where myself and another host bring on a guest, which Sean has been a part of, and they bring a topic that we interview them about off the top of our heads. It's a very fun show, so we're hoping to get back in the rotation next week. So
it's a very fun show. I like the idea of really just turning the interview format on its head completely. Mostly people don't put up in enough effort, and that's not your fault. But hey, when people put in the effort, it's a really great show. Yeah,
it's one of the most fun things we get to do every other week, and people bring all sorts of topics. And we're not experts on anything, so it's perfect for us.
It's a perfect name. I think honestly, most of it's in the name. I mean, the podcast could probably be muted, and as long as you have the name, I think that's at least half the battle showing up is what my grandma used to say. Anyways, Sam, appreciate you joining us. Make sure you follow him at Sam R, and then it's Reeves, but instead of E's, it's 3s, right?
Yep, looks like a license plate, as Jason Benetti once said.
There you go. Looks like a license plate, isn't it? What a smart man.
Right?
A properly dressed man. All right. See you, Sam. We'll see you later.
Thank you, Sean. Appreciate you guys.
Thank you, Sam. All right. We'll talk a little bit more in depth about Andrew Vaughn. And Jared is asking a fair question in the comments here. Is the chat always this quiet? It is. It's usually painfully this quiet. Hit the thumbs up button. Make sure you're subscribing to the CHGO Sports YouTube channel. We do have some comments. Ashley laughed very hard at the home run, which I didn't really find the humor. What if he just did that with us? It's a really interesting thought, Joey. They could have started Rhys Hoskins. They didn't really even need Andrew Vaughn, and he just he pisses me off.
Look, life has its ebbs and flows, right? And sometimes things change, and sometimes you evolve, and it takes time. But to have him literally go from what he was doing on the White Sox, to have him get sent down to the minor leagues and then get traded for Aaron Savali and then immediately went into a phone booth or like went fishing, caught some magic fish, brought it into the boat, and immediately turned into the player that White Sox fans have always wanted to see from him, and then to do it in October, it's just a little sudden. It's just happening a little too fast, and that's what hurts.
It's not, he like literally flipped a switch. And I didn't.
That's what it was all along. It was
I
a
thought
switch.
The whole thing about baseball was really difficult. Jared, I did get the reference. Don't worry. I was trying to play into it. Shout out to Erica for asking if the chat was always this quiet yesterday. And then SDN40 saying he's not the first to succeed. Elsewhere, environment matters, which is true. And maybe that is what it boils down to. Colton also saying that he doesn't have to be the guy in Milwaukee. That's the difference. I mean, Vaughn didn't have to be the guy in 2021 and 2022. I mean, Jose Abreu was still around. He was still seen as the guy. TA was still seen as a bigger guy. And then even prospect-wise, Robert was seen as a higher thought-of prospect. So I really never felt like Vaughn had to be the guy until 2024-ish when he fully became first baseman. And I felt like he just got enough grace. Like, 2021, he obviously had a very difficult job figuring out how to play the outfield at a position he never did before. I think that. Sorry, the chat. That's such a big.
That's
chat.
such a weird. So many words.
You gotta give him grace for trying to learn the outfield on a fly in 2021.
And Sean, just really quick, not having to be a part of it, he did just hit 5th yesterday in a playoff lineup. I mean, he's in the middle of it. They're not they're not like hiding him in the 8th spot where you can just hunt fastballs or whatever. He hit 5th yesterday.
No, and hey, Imanaga's a guy that he's seen before. Imanaga is a lefty he's had success against before, so it's not super surprising that moment necessarily happened. But he just hasn't stopped hitting. I mean, this is a 141 OPS plus hitter. His best numbers for the Sox was 141 or 111. I'm sorry, 111 in 2022. He was at 102 in 2023, 91 in 2021, 98 in 2024, and then with the Sox in 2025, 47. Obviously, he was never a 47 OPS plus player, but he wasn't producing offensively. He wasn't a first baseman defensively. When you have a 141 OPS plus as a first baseman, it really doesn't matter what your defense is like. And that's what we're finally seeing with Andrew Vaughn is the hitting is what is showing off for him. And I've just tried to figure out over the past couple, 12-ish hours, why the hell this has happened. Because he's still the same bald, pudgy, short, stocky little guy that he was.
And now he's making plays.
6 inches.
Now he's ranging into foul territory to make plays behind first base and then throwing athletically across his body and nailing a guy at first. What is going on?
That one might be just a broken clock's right twice a day situation. You know,
it feels trollish. It's very trollish.
You know, how many times did he do that out of 100? I feel like, you know, that's probably the 1 in 100 time that he did that. The homer, though, I don't know. I'm glad you live in Vegas, Joseph. But really, how has this happened? How has Andrew Vaughn transformed into this? Because, like Sam said, I think the most reasonable explanation is devil magic. When you look at what I wanted him to do, I wanted Andrew Vaughn to pull the ball in the air more, right? I wanted more fly balls, more line drives, and even pop-ups. I wanted less ground balls. He had a 41% ground ball rate, and his pull air percentage with the White Sox was 20.3%. So pull air percentage, 20.3%, and his ground ball percentage was 41.3% with the White Sox. With the Brewers, his ground ball rate is 42.1%, so it's gone up, and his pull air percentage has gone down by 4%. Do I know anything about baseball? This man makes me reconsider everything I thought about baseball. It's a little bit different because he is hitting more line drives. So I think that is really the main key. His line drive percentage went from 23.1% to 26.8%. So that's where a lot of the batting average is going to be made up. He's popping up less as well. 56.3% to 5.8% there, just meaning whenever he is hitting the ball in the air, it's not a pop-up anymore, right? It is probably a hard hit, well hit fly ball and line drive. So the quality of his fly balls and line drives has increased. And that is mainly just because or because he's swinging the bat faster and the bat path is shorter. Something that really the White Sox easily could have done. He's changed his positioning just a little bit. He's further back in the box than ever, and he's closer to the plate than ever. He's a little bit more straight, like he was a little bit closed. He's never really open. Now he's just a little bit more straight in the box. But it's really the same damn guy. And he's never looked like this guy. Never looked like this guy for our team. The one time he kind of looked like this guy for our team, you look at the 2 playoff games that he had with the White Sox, a 400 average, 400 on base percentage, 600 slugging percentage. With Milwaukee, 333 batting average, 500 on base percentage, and an 833 slugging percentage. Both OPSs over 1,000. The one time I guess he looked like that guy was the playoffs for us. Too bad we never got him back there. But at the end of the day, Vaughn is just making better swing decisions. And he is also, dude, we see your comments. I don't want to read it. It's way too big. Sorry. He's making better swing decisions at the plate, which is leading to him walking more. He had 7 walks to 43 strikeouts in 48 games. And then with Milwaukee in 64 games, 24 walks, 37 strikeouts. He is making better swing decisions. He's chasing less, and that's really the true thing that shines when you go to his swing decisions. On Baseball Reference, his chase rate went from 38% with the White Sox down to, I think, 29%. 38.6% to 29.6%. So he is just chasing less. He's not even really, the Seager number we've brought up before, the swinging at balls in the zone versus swinging at balls outside the zone. He's not even really hitting mistakes more. He's just swinging less at balls. And that's where this has come up. And I think the White Sox have probably been trying to tell him that for years. There is at no point for the past 5 years, Andrew Vaughn went up to the plate being like, oh, maybe I should take some less hacks up here. Maybe I should try to draw a walk. I understand Milwaukee's a smart baseball team, but I think it does really just come down to environment, as SDN40 said. I just think that he needed to get out of here. I don't even know it's about better coaching. I think the Sox had a really decent coach. I thought Ryan Fuller could speak to him. But alas, I was wrong. We have to take a break here on the CHGO White Sox podcast. I'll probably have our thoughts about Andrew Vaughn here after the break on the CHGO White Sox podcast presented by Bet365. We want to let you know about our friends over at Bet365. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary with our friends over at Bet365. Sign up for this football season using code CHGO365. When you bet $5, whether that bet of $5 wins or loses, you'll get $200 in bonus bets that you could bet on spreads, totals, player props, futures. Oh my, it's so fun to be gambling over at Bet365. And the best part too, whether it's college football or NFL, you are a winner if your team goes up by 17 points with an instant payout on straight bets and parlay selections marked as winners. So do yourself a favor, download the Bet365 app, use code CHGO365 when you sign up. Must be 21 plus. If you or someone who has a gambling problem, crisis counseling and referral services can be accessed by calling 1-800-GAMBLER in app only. We also want to let you know about our friends over at RC. We figured out that I drink about 6 or 7 a day. Pretty much within 2 days, I will have a case down. If we're going to be real for a second, the world's gone soft. Everything needs to be bubble wrapped. Soda used to have some kick. Now it's all about pretty colors and easy fizz. Not with RC. RC is an OG cola in a world of spineless soft drinks. RC Cola is not a soft drink, just damn good cola. It's the original cola that doesn't fold under pressure. That's why your favorite pizzeria, a true Chicago pizzeria, is going to have RC in the fridge, whether it's Milano's or Salerno, because it doesn't fold under pressure. Our pizza also doesn't fold. I don't know if that's a coincidence. No trends, no gimmicks, no glow-ups. RC hasn't changed its stripe since 1905 because it didn't need to. It's the same bold, crisp flavor that it's always been. So do yourself a favor, meet an old friend. Go see RC. You haven't seen her in a while. Grab some RC at your local store. Stock up for all your end of summer parties, back to school celebrations, or if you're just watching the game, RC is the move for whatever you're doing. Also check out RC Zero Sugar. It's very, 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 very good. Welcome back to the CHGO White Sox podcast presented by Bet365. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary with our friends over at Bet365. Sign up using code CHGO365. You can become a diehard with that QR code down in the corner. We did have a diehard question just to answer it for brevity's sake, I guess, or not even think brevity's sake. I don't even know what the hell I'm talking about. Fresco Elmo did ask, will the White Sox be players for Andrew Vaughn in 2027 when he becomes a free agent? Maybe. If they need a first baseman, maybe. I don't think they should say no. I think it'd be a hilarious twist and turn of events that if they like traded this guy for pretty much nothing, Aaron Savale, who you had to remind me of during the White Sox player quiz, and then I completely just forgot that he was even in the major leagues still, just like forgot he existed. The fact that, you know, Vaughn has turned into this important of a player for Milwaukee is a fantastic trade, obviously, and speaks to what Milwaukee can, you know, really do with players. But I don't know. I guess he just started believing in himself. Like, as lame as that sounds, like they made him stand a little bit further back and a little bit closer to the plate. I doubt the White Sox never told him to swing faster. I mean, I've brought that up a ton of times. And I think JTH 78 is right. The White Sox made the right move to let Vaughn go. He was never going to hit like this for them. By this time next year, see where Vaughn is. My guess will just be average, which is possible. I think there definitely will be some come down to normality for him. But the one thing that I needed him to do when it came to the White Sox was be more patient, was to take walks. We saw that in college. Like, part of the reason that we wanted him out of college at the 3rd overall pick was his ability to draw walks. He had like a 500 on base percentage in the Pac-12. And we never saw that at the major league level. You look at his fan graphs, walk percentage, like walk rate, 8%, 8.7% in his rookie year, 2021, 5.6% in 2022, 5.9% in 2023, 2024, 6.1%, 2025, 6.9%. Joey, do you want to guess his walk rate? Oh, sorry. His walk rate wasn't 6.9% with the White Sox. It was 3.6%. Do you want to guess his walk rate in Milwaukee?
Is it 6.9%?
9.4.
9 point. Wow.
So not only is it
I was gonna guess like 8.1.
Not only is it a career high, it is about like what, 6 points, 7 points higher. So 8.7 to 9.4. Like, it's 0.7 points higher.
Is there anything Meatball to take away from he went back to basics and the fact he got sent down to the minor leagues? He started maybe like looking. He was like, oh man, maybe I see the end of the career at the
like
end
maybe
of this tunnel
maybe there is no, like maybe he did start like maybe he saw backs against the wall plus Milwaukee helped him believe in himself.
Now or never.
Yeah. Absolutely. Maybe it's now or never, and that's just Milwaukee's entire MO, and that's what allowed him to succeed. But I mean, you even look at his K percentage, like he was never below 17.3%. He had 3 seasons around 21%, 2021, 2023, and 2024, and then 2 other seasons at 17%. In 2025 with the Sox, he was at 22.3%, with Milwaukee 14.6%. So a 9.4% walk rate and a 14.6% K rate. He's never had a walk to strikeout ratio like that. It's always been under 0.5. He's at 0.65 with Milwaukee.
And just to add to the environment thing, just really quickly, because people have been saying it in the comments, is maybe it is the Milwaukee Brewers infrastructure as a whole, but this season in particular, like the big narrative with them is how they're treating this. Their team full of JUCO players. Mm-hmm. They're all junior college guys. They're all dudes that are overlooked and not thought about, and castaways and misfit toys and all that stuff. Yeah. So the narrative this year actually really fits into exactly what Andrew Vaughn kind of needed to have a bit of a soft landing spot to get back to maybe who Andrew Vaughn always thought, or who White Sox fans hoped he was going to be.
He needed to be reminded of where he came from.
Yeah,
California Golden Bears, a Pac-12 baseball conference, was one of the best in the nation.
I mean, they got yellow on the uniforms.
Third pick overall.
The 3rd pick overall.
Oh, my God. What a waste. The fact that they could have had Bobby Witt Jr. instead kills me. And not really. But, like, if Kansas City, for some reason, doesn't sign Bobby Witt, he's a White Sox. I just will never. That's why I hate sports. Because that's something I'll never get over. I'll be 80. This probably pains me more than Fernando Tatis, because it's like luck fell the right way. You were in the right place at the right time. You just weren't one spot up. Do they still take Vaughn though? Like if they had
Fernando
the second pick,
Tatis-
do they still take Vaughn and just let Bobby Witt go to the Royals?
I mean, like Rick Hahn loved him.
Tatis?
No, Vaughn.
Oh yeah.
Loved him. Fernando Tatis feels a little more like ships passing in the night, just a little bit, because he hadn't really accelerated or developed in the minor leagues he wasn't, you know what I mean? I don't know. How on the radar was Fernando Tatis Jr. at the time of the trade, outside of him obviously being the son of the former St. Louis Cardinals?
He wasn't on the White Sox radar because they never had a scout in the Dominican Republic. So they screwed themselves over with that.
So that's what I'm saying. It just hurts maybe a little bit less.
Yeah. And hey, real quick, when you do look at Andrew Vaughn defensively, because I know I just wanted to look into it and see how he did with the Brewers. Of course, he looks like, who was a great Don Mattingly? Great for Keith Hernandez. He looks like Keith Hernandez out there.
Yeah, Donnie baseball was okay.
Outs above average in 2024 at first base, -9 fielding run value, -7. 2025 with the White Sox, Andrew Vaughn at first base, -3 outs above average, -2 fielding run value. 2025 with the Milwaukee Brewers in 514 innings, 4 outs above average, 3 fielding run value.
Now that's where, if you want to get upset at Andrew Vaughn, that to me smells more like BS to me, because it wasn't like in a span of 2 or 3 weeks he got more flexible, or he got faster, or his feet got quicker. Now that feels a little bit more like focus, execution, and effort. That's just what that stat alone. That's what it comes across. We can talk ourselves into him, getting his swing together and going back to what he's good at and everything like that, and a mental mind process to get that swing. But you're telling me that all of a sudden he turns into a plus-ish first baseman overnight? That's where I smell the BS. That's what makes me upset.
It smells like BS. It smells like S, and I hate him. I gotta be honest.
He did Pilates for 2 weeks and suddenly now he's better at first base?
There are people where it's like, oh no, I'm glad to see that guy succeed, right? Like I have no issue with Garrett Crochet. Thrilled to see Garrett Crochet succeed. Would love to see Dylan Cease get hundreds of millions of dollars, right? It's great to see Lucas Giolito bounce back. It was cool to see Yohan Moncada hit some homers with the Angels and look a little healthy this year. Not super healthy, but a little bit, right? TA never had that moment. I was never anti-Abreu. He just kind of fell off, but there's something about Vaughn that I hate. There's something that just doesn't sit right with me.
The death stare, the lack of production, the ploddingness, the body shape,
the how bad of a player he was,
lack of
how
achieving his potential,
horrible he was. How
remember he
unaware he was.
What did he hit for the White Sox this year? 189.
I don't even want to look. It'll make me so sick.
Because the first month, I feel like he was in the 110, 120s.
2025. Oh, this only has his full year, so it's what 282.
Maybe I'm misremembering because it just felt a certain way.
Yeah, he has an average over 300 with it's like 308 with Milwaukee. With the Sox this year, 189. Yeah, -1.8 B WAR. 1.3 B WAR with Milwaukee. Absurd. That's Andrew Vaughn for you. If you have any more thoughts, let us know. Randy Shue in the chat saying, hopefully he has a few more good weeks. I bet some money on the Brewers to win the World Series in July. Hey, congrats, Randy. That'd be their first World Series win, right? They're one of the franchises without a World Series, I think. Because the only year that I'm bringing up is 1983, but I think they lost to the Orioles that year. So, yeah, I think that'd be a fun little storyline there, Randy. Maybe they could be like the Rangers of 2021. Ryan saying, which former player on the active Sox roster frustrated you the most to see good away from the Sox organization? Which former player on the active Sox roster? Ryan, I'm going to need you to restate that. We're going to answer that after the break here on the CHGO White Sox podcast presented by Bet365. Oh, I threw it to break way too early for Joey. Here, let me cut.
Do it again.
We're going to go to break here on the CHGO White Sox podcast presented by Bet365. Here's a question for the athletes out there. Are you serious about leveling up your game? Because the right coach can change everything. And now finding one is easy with Eye on the Ball, a company started by two CHGO diehards. We're extremely proud of them, extremely proud that they are supporting us, and we're excited to support them back. It doesn't matter if you're just a kid starting out or competing at the top level. You could sign up totally free at eyeontheball.net. Create your profile, search through coaches in your sport, and connect directly with the one that's right for you. From soccer to swimming, baseball to basketball, you name it, the coaches are out there. Pickleball, water polo, etc. So what are you waiting for? Your future coach could be one click away. Jump on eyeontheball.net. That's eyeontheball.net. Find your coaching and take your game to the next level. I couldn't think of any other more sports, so that's my bad. We also want to let you know about our friends over at Ray Auto Chevy. Ray Chevrolet in Fox Lake is slashing prices on new cars and giving you big savings all month long. Come in today to shop the model year end sales event and drive home with employee pricing on every new Chevy model. You could get $3,000 to $11,000 off MSRP, or you could check out their selection of over 125 vehicles priced under $20,000. With one of Chicagoland's largest Chevy inventories, you'll be sure to find the perfect vehicle for you. And with Race Price Promise, you could shop confidently because the price you see is the price you get. There's no haggling. There's no back and forth. You see the price. You pay the price. Boom. Ray's made it simple. Don't miss out on their model year end sales event going on all month long and employee pricing on every new Chevrolet model. Shop Ray Chevrolet in Fox Lake or raychevrolet.com. They've been serving the community since 1963. Together, let's drive.
Let's drive.
Let's drive.
Let's drive.
That's a motorbike.
That's a drive.
Welcome back to the CHGO White Sox podcast presented by Bet365. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary with our friends over at Bet365. Thank you to Zenny Dragon for saying 82 was the Brewers' only year in the World Series. They were the American League team, as we discussed yesterday. Them being in the American League Central, I think until 97. I think it was 94 to 97 was the American League Central with the Brewers. And they lost to the Cardinals in a 7-game series. And the World Series MVP, Darryl Porter. I have no idea who that is.
Very cool. Shout out to the Porter family.
Very, very cool. Darryl Porter that year. Oh, wow. Darryl Porter. 351, 442, 568. That's worth World Series MVP and NLCS MVP. Nice job. All right, let's get to Ryan's question that he has now restated. Former Sox player that played better away from the Sox organization. Kind of like, why didn't you do that with us way? Andrew Vaughn.
Mm-hmm.
Like I really should have maybe stated it that way. Andrew Vaughn, there is really no explanation to why he didn't do that. You could say poor coaching, but I really don't think that 2 inches back and 2 inches in and then saying swing the bat harder is really that much of coaching. Like, most baseball players know in the year of 2025 that you need to swing the bat harder. That if you want to walk more, you have to chase less. The defense part makes zero sense. He was inept defensively over at first base. Now apparently he's Keith Hernandez. Now he's John Olerud. Get him the helmet. This is it. It's upsetting.
He is the helmet away from just tying the whole Milwaukee look together.
The eyes. Just like the eyes with that helmet, that could be a really good look. Did you have some?
Well, so just to answer Ryan's question that played better away from the Sox organization, a couple of them definitely come to mind. Now, to be very fair, a lot of these players were already pretty darn good on the White Sox, but 2 of them really stick out to me in the 90s. The first one was we couldn't come to an agreement on a contract with Alex Fernandez. He goes to the Florida Marlins, and they win the World Series the very next year. The other one is, and he was a great White Sox, don't get me wrong, but Robin Ventura on the New York Mets was legit. Like, took his game to a completely other level, won a bunch of Gold Gloves, was a part of, at times, Sports Illustrated said it was the greatest defensive infield of all time. Robin Ventura absolutely shoved after leaving the White Sox, and I couldn't help but feeling, why couldn't he do that with us?
That's funny, because, like, he did win a ton of Gold Gloves with the Sox. What?
Oh, no.
5?
No, great player.
Yeah.
Great player. I'm just saying he just became an elite player in New York. It was, and maybe he was always going to head that way anyways, just the same way we see seasons from Chris Sale and Dylan Cease and Garrett Crochet and so on. But I don't know. Those ones always stick out, and those ones hurt.
Yeah, no, that 99 Mets season was his best season. Sixth in MVP voting, which is his best finish ever. 6.7 B-WAR. His next best season was 1992 with 6 WAR. 1998, though, 5.8 WAR. So
pretty good.
Pretty similar. But here, the difference is, still had a Gold Glove. 106 OPS plus in 1998 with the White Sox. 130 with the Mets, going from a 263 average to a 301 batting average. Here's some crazy. I don't know why we're just talking about Robin Ventura's slash line, but who cares? Let's go. 98, 263. 1999, 301. 2000, 232. And there you go. That's the 32-year-old drop-off for you. That just kind of explains baseball and the aging curve. You could raise your batting average 40 points in 1998 with the speed difference, right? You could just, you're not facing 99 every single time, and you don't have to sell out for homers because you can't string together singles unless you're the Milwaukee Brewers back-to-back, right? You got to get a guy on and then hit him in.
The other funny one, too, just really quick, is Carlos Lee. When they traded Carlos Lee for Scott Podsednik, Carlos Lee had a really good year with the Milwaukee Brewers that next year. But no one ever thinks about...
Who cares?
Yeah, no one cares.
Well, Adam Hogue cares and Patrick Nolan care. And we should, at some point this offseason, we have to have P. Knowles and Adam Hogue on to discuss the Scott Podsednik, Carlos Lee thing, because some people think, Adam Hogue, that the White Sox wouldn't have won the World Series without Scott Podsednik. P. Knowles contends that you still would have won even if you kept Carlos Lee.
Ooh, where are you on this?
I don't care, mainly because it's a little bit too fictional and
it's a very what if
mainly because the White Sox won the World Series in 2005, and I think if we're nitpicking the only thing good that's ever happened to us, I think we're getting a little bit too a little bit too niche.
I lean with Hogue.
I mean, Pino's right. Like, maybe certain events don't happen, but you just said Carlos Lee had a better season than he ever did with the White Sox.
Crushed.
He has that same season with the White Sox. It doesn't hurt the Sox. And even then, if Frank goes down, you move El Caballo to DH, and then you pick up a left fielder.
I think just what I really...
Maybe it's not Podsednik, but still.
Think for Sox fans, like what we remember about that time is like just that 1-2 punch of Podsednik and Iguchi was lethal. And Scott Podsednik just had a great knack for just slapping a base hit into the outfield and then immediately stealing second base. And next thing you know, the White Sox were putting runs on the board, getting a lead, holding on to a lead and winning games. And that's the component that they really think about. Podsednik also going yard in game 2. Pretty chill.
But also, if El Caballo's leading off in game 2,
well, we wouldn't have to deal with Carl Everett.
I still think El Caballo hits that ball deep as well. Before we get into our final topic, David Sampson and Jerry Reinsdorf. Now that we're done with the 2005 White Sox and Robin Ventura segment of the show, I do want to get to Colton. Colton's a smart cat. Do you think Kyle Teel eventually moves to first base despite being a solid catcher? And he talks about his love of catching, that the team could actually convince him. We asked Gene Watson this, and he pretty quickly said no to Kyle Teel moving. I'm in agreement with you. You also said a little bit earlier that you want left-handed power from first base. Kyle Teel, who gave you a 130 weighted runs created plus, is left-handed power at first base. And now, with the ABS rule, it's going to be less important if guys can frame. It's going to be less important if guys can sit back there and frame a strike or a ball into a strike or a strike into a ball. Or I don't know how they do that, but you know what I'm saying, right? It's going to be less important to do that because you'll have replay evidence in 10 seconds to tell you what the right call is. And Caro is shown to have a cannon back there. And Caro had a ton of pickoffs. So that might become the more important part of... Oh, Hawks scored. And Mario is fired up.
Yeah, we've got some fire in the studio.
Whoa.
The Blackhawks are on the board.
Brother, I don't even do that if Andrew Vaughn hits a homer with the White Sox. Oh, he's pumped. Oh, I'm scared.
I love it.
Oh, yeah.
That's me.
That's awesome for
Tapping into
Frank.
a spirit animal right there.
But back to Kyle Teel. I think it's going to be less important less important defensively catchers will be. So I think Caro could cut it. And I think that like logically, it makes sense for Kyle Teel to move to first base or left field, is what I've brought up. First base is fine with me. I think that Kyle Teel could benefit from being a first baseman. I think if you are talking about a free agent case, he'd probably want to stay at catcher because catchers get paid more than first baseman, depending on how much you're actually hitting for power. Pete Alonso is going to make $30 million because he hits over 40 homers. I don't think Teel is a 40 homer person. Also, Maz, it's not hate on Vaughn. Good for Vaughn. I just
lament.
Could have done it with the Sox. There's no reason why I didn't do it with the Sox. That's what we're miffed.
I think the idea is to reverse engineer this and understand the reason why you are rooting for Andrew Vaughn right now are the reasons that we are frustrated and depressed about what Andrew Vaughn did at the White Sox.
I mean, he had
two things.
all the potential in the world, and now he's showing all that potential. And what the hell was he doing for the past 5 years? You know, he got a wake-up call. I just wish that this came probably like 2 months earlier. Maybe it could have came when he got called down to Charlotte. Oh, well. But anyways, I agree with you, Colton, that Teel moving to first base could be beneficial to the Sox. You're following up saying Carroll could be the everyday catcher and Lee could be the true backup. I think Lee has value outside of being a backup. So I wouldn't be surprised if they moved on from him and they could still even, move Teel to first base. So we'll have to see, but I don't hate that. Let's get into this story that I found interesting. My thoughts do go with David Sampson. He's going through a lot in his personal life. He talked about it on a recent episode with Pablo Torre Finds Out. That episode aired on Friday. And on that episode, David Sampson told a story about Jerry Reinsdorf. Now, let's give some backstory first. 6 years ago, David Sampson said on a Dan Le Batard Mystery Crate episode, he, Jerry Reinsdorf, sat me down. I was 32 years old, just in baseball, for my first of 18 years, and he said, here's my best advice to you. Finish in second place every single year because your fans will say, wow, we've got a shot, we're in it, but there's always the carrot left. There's always one more step to take, end quote. David Sampson has then walked back because I think Jerry Reinsdorf probably threatened defamation on him. But that was the quote that was on the episode. I think it's likely true. But anyways, I don't think there's any proof that David Sampson could say that because it's just hearsay. But I do think that David Sampson has an accurate memory that is something Jerry Reinsdorf said to him. However, on this episode with Pablo Torre, David Sampson explains how Rob Manfred got elected MLB commissioner. He said, and led off the story by that he texted Jerry Reinsdorf happy birthday. And he likes texting people happy birthday, and that he knows Jerry Reinsdorf's birthday because it's the same as his late sister. So he wanted to send a message to Jerry, and he said, happy birthday, sending best wishes and hoping all is well. Jerry Reinsdorf, what do you think he said?
Thank you.
That'd be appropriate.
I also have something else to tell you.
Quote, have you no shame? End quote.
Oh, I'm sorry. I walked into that blind. What?
Jerry Reinsdorf was wished happy birthday by David Sampson. He said, have you no shame? Sampson then went into the backstory. In 2014, Jerry did not want Rob Manfred to be the commissioner. Sampson opposed Jerry, and Sampson wanted Rob Manfred as the commissioner. Sampson was able to flip 3 owners to allow Rob Manfred to become the commissioner. He was able to get 23 yays to 7 no's, where Jerry thought that he had 20 yays to 10 no's. You need 8 votes to block, right? Jerry wanted Tom Werner. Per Sampson, Jerry Reinsdorf didn't think Bud Selig or anyone Bud Selig wanted would be hard enough on labor. Jerry needed 8 votes to block. Jerry thought that he had Ted Lerner's vote, the Washington Nationals owner. However, Sampson was able to woo over Lerner not to vote and have his son Mark vote. And then they had Ted stay with Jerry to give Jerry a sense of security that Sampson wasn't talking to Lerner. And then when it was called to vote, Jerry thought that he had Ted Lerner on his side. Lerner did not vote. Mark Lerner did. Mark Lerner approved Manfred, and that's how we get Rob Manfred as our commissioner. And then David Sampson said he's never been looked at like that in his life after he was able to flip the MLB owners to approve Rob Manfred. So I'm just real, and Jesus of the Apes saying 316 hitter with the Brewers. I guess that's including postseason. It's 308 regular season, and he's done very well. I think we said 333 in the postseason. So yeah, 316 overall. Jerry Reinsdorf, though, not surprising that, you wanted the guy that was going to be a little bit harder on labor and give less money to those damn players, right? Because, all this 100 million stuff is not for him. He's not going to go over that threshold. Aren't we lucky? That's going to do it for the CHGO White Sox podcast. We appreciate everyone hanging out with us. Hit that thumbs up button. Make sure you're subscribing to the CHGO Sports YouTube channel. Thank you to Sam Reeves for joining us. Make sure you check out their endeavor over at the All Sports Scene. They do truly some fun work. I love the improv, and I love their ability to just chat it up. Check out Talking Out Your Ass. Check out the Ass Podcast, or the Asscast. I should be proper here. He's been great. And no, it's not a surprise to you. It's just more that there's Hoskins and Vaughn, and that there could have been an option. And we're going to end the show. Goodbye. See you on Thursday at 5:30.
We all silly like the mayor.